love it, you can return it. I know you're gonna love it. There's no maintenance. You put a little oil in the chamber to lubricate the chain. There's just a little dial, you'll see it. And that's it, and then charge the battery and then put the battery on. And you're ready to go. Put goggles on if you're cutting, right? It couldn't be any easier. So there's your flex pay, 25 bucks and change. You get it home. Look at the size of what we're cutting, Bobby.
You know what's neat is even if you cut something a little bit bigger or thicker than the 4.5 diameter, you could just do 2 cuts. I mean, it's not like you have to, again, the thing about
done that.
Yeah, you can just do, you know, there's a way around it. We're garden guys, we know what's up. There's some shortcuts, there's some ways to do it. Just do 2 cuts. The thing about this is, what I want you to notice, in addition to how lightweight it is, look, Ma, no cords. Look, Ma, no gas, no pulling, none of that stuff. It's just our battery operated. So I like to brag about our battery a little bit. If you're new to the Sunjo family, remember when batteries were, they start 12 volt and then they went to what, 18?
Yep.
Well, here we are at 24. This is our 24 volt lithium ion battery. It's eco-friendly, quick charging. Gonna give you about 20, 25 minutes of continuous use, but here's the kicker. This is gonna work in over 100 of our other Snow Joe, Sun Joe, Aqua Joe, Power Joe, Air Joe.
Hey, Bobby, while we're talking about, because like we said, there's no maintenance. The only thing I've ever done on mine is tighten the chain. And Bobby, will you show them how that works? Because remember, when you use this, it is on a chain system. And if it gets a little loose, what do they do?
Yeah, first of all, you put a little oil in there. We give that to you right there. That cap comes off. And then you've got a little tightener here. If your chain comes loose, you can take it off and just turn it to the right and tighten
it right up. It's easy.
Exactly, yep.
I've only done that once. I've had mine a year.
Yeah, and again, let's put it up right here. Yeah, if you saw a guy earlier in the presentation with the old school saw, he didn't even quite get it started, did you?
Oh, it was terrible.
But
and I've experienced that because, well, most wood saws, the teeth, you have to get it started. It takes forever to do that.
Exactly.
Do you mind if I do a little pruning over here?
Yeah, here we go. My favorite part.
What I love about, first of all, I can articulate this.
Thank you. That's a great point.
That I want.
Yep.
So if I'm, and maybe you come in close, I'll show you that. There's a little button right here. I love it because I own this, so I know how to use it very well. All you do, the button's on this side, you just push that button right there, and that allows you to get to whatever angle you want. And then I can extend it. I'm gonna extend this one almost all the way. And I'm gonna do a little real cutting here. I'm actually gonna change the angle just a little bit more straight.
There you go.
And we've got a magnolia tree back here, which needs a little bit of trimming. So I'll show you. I'll come right over here.
Watch your step there, yep.
Now I'm way up here, and I am taking down branches from this magnolia tree. And you can see, watch. All right, I'm not gonna go too crazy.
Save some for next show.
Yeah, I gotta say, but can you see where I just trimmed there? And it took me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I would have to call a guy and he'd come over in a bucket lifter, or I'd have to get on a ladder. How am I gonna lean a ladder on a magnolia tree? You can't.
You can't. It's virtually an impossible job. You made that look so, I'm glad you did that just to show like there's not like, this isn't fake wood. This is a real world scenario. Guy just cut the magnolia tree. You did it seamlessly and effortlessly. Why?
I roll the dice every time I do it. I'm waiting for somebody from our crew to be like,
no.
You gotta get Yova and stop cutting trees.
No, the guy owns this, so he knows it, so he's comfortable with it. When you get this home, you're gonna feel very comfortable with it. Again, there's a little area right here. I'll try and keep it still and when we come back to me, I'll show you. But again, this is some first-time users using our Sunjo chainsaw. You can use it in the handheld. You could put it on the pole. Either way, you're gonna get a lot more use than you originally think. When I first got this, I was like, oh, I may use that once or twice. I've used this a ton of times. This almost reminds me of pressure washer. Once you start cleaning, you kind of get addicted. You're like, I can clean this, I can clean that. Same thing when you get a chainsaw. You're like, oh, I can stimulate growth over there. I can kind of use it as a pruning saw, if you will, to improve the structure or to improve the shape or whatever that you want to do. So again, I was showing you this part right here, maybe in the sun. You put that butt part right there. Trying to keep it real still. Can you see that? That goes against your branch or your log or your piece of wood. Then you don't have to push. Maybe a little bit of rocking back and forth.
Hey, Bobby.
And again, boom, clean
and will
cut.
you tell them the key to successful sawing? Get the saw started before you get there.
Yep.
That's how you don't want to put the saw on the wood and then start it. You want to give it a little running start. That way the teeth are already activated and you're not going to get that kind of like, you know, it bounces a little bit on stuff.
Yep. And then again, to transition it into the pole, battery pops on the back, this pops on the top. I'm gonna show you another demo. I'm gonna articulate the head a little bit like that. And then even if you want to go downward, you wouldn't think, okay, you think, oh, I got a pole, I'm going to go up. If you wanna do stuff more on a downward position, you could also do that. Look at that. So I'm cutting something lower than waist
Look
level.
at how
So
clean.
if a log or branch fell on the ground and it was too big, you'd have to old school get in your hands and knees and chainsaw down here.
Look at that. I just want you to see how clean that is.
Here, I can show it to camera like that.
You would never be able to do that with a regular handsaw, right? You'd get to the end and then you would be so fatigued. You'd wind up splintering the wood, and then you got to go out there with a file, and you would never do that. And to Bobby's earlier point, when you cut clean, you're actually doing a service to the plant. Right. Because, it's not damaged. It doesn't sense that damage and start dripping out and all that stuff. So top to bottom, you cannot do any better. I'm a big proponent of, hey, listen, if it's a really, really scary, tough job, get somebody to do it. I got that. Yeah. But for most of your cutting,
for your residential purposes,
residential trees, shrubs, bushes, firewood,
down branches,
kindling, down branches,
big
use
shrubs.
This. And a lot of people, and I don't care if you're male, female, whatever age you are.
No, it doesn't matter. You're going to feel comfortable.
If you can hold a couple of pounds in your hand.
Under 5 pounds.
Not only that, it's very empowering.
Isn't it? It is. It's like, oh, I can do this.
I can use a chainsaw, man.
You get that feeling of confidence. You're like, okay, I can do this.
Totally.
Normally, something like this, again, you'd have to either call someone over or rent something. I'm going to get the extender pole, get it up here, high above. Let's see if I can get a good spot here. Boom. Did you get that?
Look at that.
Let's do one more.
That was like 3 seconds. Look it.
Boom. Look at that.
Now, if those branches are were full of ice and hanging over your driveway, they're probably hanging very low. Yeah. You should be able to reach them.
And here you'd be able to get away from it as opposed to being under it. You don't have to be like that. You can create that angle to get it away from you, so when it does fall, to Guy's point, if it's heavy, it won't fall on you. It's going to fall on the ground in front of you. So again, safety. We're using the gloves. These are Sunjo gloves. If you want a quick hit on this, these are nitrile coated, which is really cool because they're they're abrasion resistant.
Great
they're
gloves.
weather resistant.
Best gloves ever.
They keep you warm in the winter. And you've seen me use these gloves the whole presentation with my tools. So my point is, you have flexibility in your fingers to use the tools that you need to do.
That rubberized finish is great. Yeah. Especially if your hands get wet, you still have traction with them. Yep. And I told you I have big hands, so I'll be able to find something that fits. But when you take them off, you'll see this is why the one size kind of fits all. When you take them off, they go back down to being just a small glove. So they'll fit anybody, men, women, kids, whatever. Really gonna save your hands.
You can wash them as well, just line dry them. Yeah. So you can reuse them. If they mine get dirty, whatever, I wash them, I leave them on my little mud tub, dry out, good to go.
$15, you get 3 pair. Yeah. I mean, that's more than you need.
That is, that's good.
I mean, I would use these, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I would use these if I was diving. Too. Oh yeah? Yeah, like if I was scuba diving or snorkeling or whatever, grabbing shells and things like that. Because